Good morning, students. Hope you all with your family are healthy and safe. Let's get back to the study after vacation. I'm looking forward to that now you will learn and attend the classes regularly, attentively, and enthusiastically. Today we'll start with chapter 6, Molecular Basis of Inheritance. And the topics that we will take up for today are DNA structure and packaging. Now about the learning objectives of the session. Structure of DNA packaging. That means after completion of the session, you will be able to get a better understanding of structure of DNA as well as the packaging of DNA in the prokaryotic cells as well as eukaryotic cell. Here, the first image is showing the double helical structure of DNA. The two strands are anti-parallel and complementary in nature and held together with the help of hydrogen bonds. In the second image, we are able to see the structure of chromosome. The chromosomes are made up of DNA. DNA forms chromatin threads and chromatin threads condense to form chromosome at the time of cell division. Each chromosome has two chromatid arms which are called as sister chromatids, and both the chromatid arms are held together by a constriction called as centromere. Now, some general information about DNA. Each cell has about 2 meters of DNA. The average human has 75 trillion cells. The average human has enough DNA to go from Earth to the Sun more than 400 times. That means this data is giving us an idea that how much and how huge amount of DNA is present in a single body. Now about the discovery of DNA double helix. Watson and Crick in 1953 proposed a double helix model of DNA based on the X-ray diffraction data produced by Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. One of the important features of this model is the complementary base pairing. Now about the structure of DNA. DNA consists of two strands that are arranged into a ladder-like structure called double helix. A single molecule of DNA is made up of millions of tiny subunits called nucleotides. We can also say that the basic fundamental and structural unit of DNA strand is nucleotide. Each nucleotide consists of phosphate group, pentose sugar, that is the deoxyribose sugar, and nitrogenous bases. 4 nitrogenous bases are involved: thymine, cytosine, guanine, and adenine. Uracil is specific for RNA. Now, they're showing the DNA strand in the form of a ladder. The sugar and phosphate forms the backbone of ladder, while the nitrogenous bases are placed towards the inner side and held together with the help of hydrogen bonds. Now the structure in detail. The basic building blocks of DNA are nucleotides, which in turn is made up of sugar, phosphate and base. Sugar and phosphate are arranged in the form of a strand or backbone, and the bases are located towards the inner side. Both the strands are anti-parallel in nature, as you are able to see that the first strand has the polarity 3' to 5', while the second strand has polarity 5' to 3'. That means both are anti-parallel in nature, and the bases are located towards the inner side, and the bases of both sides are held together or joined together with the help of hydrogen bonds. It provides stability to the structure of DNA. Now some more about the structure of DNA. Again, there is the helical structure of DNA. The figure in the middle is showing the molecular structure that you have read in class 11th. You all know that the bases are held together with the help of hydrogen bond. The bases are attached to the sugar molecule with the help of glycosidic bond. Sugar molecule is attached to the phosphate group with the help of phosphoester bond, and one nucleotide join the another nucleotide with the help of phosphodiester bond. All these points we have discussed already, that two strands of DNA which run anti-parallel and the complementary pairing takes place. That means adenine will pair up with thymine and cytosine will pair up with guanine. Now about the DNA and its anti-parallel strands. DNA is basically made up of two polynucleotide chains where the backbone is constituted by sugar, phosphate and nitrogenous base. We have discussed it already. Now the bases in the two strands are held together by hydrogen bonds forming base pairs. Adenine pairs with thymine through two hydrogen bonds and guanine with cytosine through three hydrogen bonds. The two chains have anti-parallel polarity. As we have discussed the B type of DNA, so the two chains are coiled in a right-handed fashion and the pitch of the helix is 3.4 nm. There are about 10 base pairs in each turn with 0.34 nm between two base pairs. The plane of the base pair stacks over the another in the double helix. We have already discussed that the DNA is made up of nucleotides and it has three components: phosphate group, sugar and nitrogenous base. Now the molecular structure. Nucleotide has phosphate group, sugar and nitrogenous base, and if there they have written DNA nucleoside, what you need to mention is you just need to remove the phosphate group. That means the base and the sugar will form the nucleoside and the base, sugar and phosphate group will form the nucleotide. This is the molecular structure of DNA, showing that adenine and thymine are held together with the help of 2 hydrogen bonds and guanine and cytosine with the help of 3 hydrogen bonds. Now about the nitrogenous bases. Purines are double ring bases. Adenine and guanine are the examples. And pyrimidines are single ring bases, thymine and cytosine. Now about the pairing up. Adenine pairs up with thymine with the help of 2 hydrogen bonds and guanine pairs up with cytosine with the help of 3 hydrogen bonds. This base pairing rule is termed as Chargaff's rule. Here, the purine always pair up with the pyrimidines. Now the two-stranded DNA. DNA has two strands that fit together something like a zipper. The teeth are the nitrogenous bases of the zipper. Now about the hydrogen bonds. The bases attract each other because of hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds are weak, but there are millions and millions of them in a single molecule of DNA. It gives the stability to the DNA structure. Now about the Chargaff's rule. Adenine must pair up with thymine. Guanine must pair up with cytosine. So, their amounts in a given DNA molecule will be about the same. That means purine will be equal to the pyrimidines. Same information is there. Now about the basic structure, showing the minor groove and the major groove of the DNA strand. All the bonds that we have discussed already are shown in this image with the distances. You need to remember how far apart the bases or how far apart one turn from another. All these distances you need to remember. The two chains have anti-parallel polarity. One chain has the polarity 5' to 3' and other has 3' to 5'. The pitch of the helix is 3.4 nanometer and there are roughly 10 base pair in each turn. The distance between the base pair in a helix is approximately equal to 0.34 nm. Now about the packaging of DNA. Let's start with the prokaryotic cells. In prokaryotes, there is no well-defined nucleus. The DNA is organized in large loops held by certain positively charged proteins in a region called the nucleoid. Prokaryotic cells do not contain nuclei and other membrane-bound organelles. In fact, the word prokaryote literally means before the nucleus. The nucleoid is simply the area of prokaryotic cell in which the chromosomal DNA is located. One way prokaryotes compress their DNA into smaller spaces is through supercoiling. Genomes, that is the genetic material, is negatively charged as it is made up of DNA, and supercoiled meaning that the DNA is twisted in the opposite direction of the double helix or positively supercoiled, meaning that the DNA is twisted in the same direction as the double helix. Most bacterial genomes are negatively supercoiled. Now about the bacterial chromosome. Single circular DNA molecule located in the nucleoid region of the cell. This region is able to hold the negatively charged DNA strand as it has some positively charged basic proteins. Now it is showing the pattern of supercoiling. The twisting towards the right side and twisting towards the opposite side. And most common type of supercoiling is opposite direction. Now about the DNA packaging in eukaryotes. In eukaryotes, the DNA is wrapped around positively charged histone proteins, that is histone octamer, into a structure called nucleosome. A typical nucleosome consists of 200 base pairs of DNA helix. It is a very important point, frequently asked question. The nucleosomes are the repeating units that form the chromatin fiber. As I have discussed with you that the DNA is arranged in the form of chromatin threads, and on the chromatin threads we are able to see bead-like structure on a equal distance, and those bead-like structures are termed as the nucleosome, which are made up of histone proteins on which the DNA has been supercoiled. The chromatin fiber condense at metaphase stage of cell division to form chromosomes. The packaging of chromatin at higher level requires additional set of proteins called non-histone chromosomal proteins. In a nucleus, certain regions of the chromatin are loosely packed and they stain lighter than the other regions, which are called as the euchromatin part. That means a part of chromatin thread is lightly stained and termed as euchromatin, and part of it is darkly stained, which is termed as heterochromatin. The region which is tightly packed and not able to express and stain darker is called as heterochromatin, and euchromatin is the lightly stained part which is transcriptionally more active than heterochromatin. Now the image is showing the DNA packaging in eukaryotes. DNA is wrapped around the histone octamer into a structure called nucleosome. The histone protein get arranged in the form of 8 subunits and it forms as an histone octamer. Histones are highly alkaline proteins found in eukaryotic cell nuclei that package and order the DNA into structural units called nucleosome. Histones are basic in nature due to the presence of 2 amino acids, lysine and arginine. So they are able to hold tightly the negatively charged DNA strand as negative and positive attracts. They are the chief protein components of chromatin, acting as spools around which DNA winds and play a role in gene regulation. Without histone, the unwound DNA in chromosome would be very long and will not be able to get adjusted in a nucleus. Here they are showing the octamer. Now the packaging of DNA. As I've already told you, the nucleosome, there are 8 subunits of histone called as histone octamer get arranged on which the DNA remains supercoiled But there is also an additional structure of a histone, that is H1 histone, which helps in coiling of DNA strand on the nucleosome octamer. Now about the packaging DNA. Histone proteins are needed. The H1 histone with the histone octamer forms the nucleosome, over which the DNA strand supercoiled and help getting condensed. Histone is able to do so because DNA is negatively charged and histone is positively charged. In the figure they have shown the B DNA helix, that means in each turn it is having 10 base pairs. Here the histone octamer and the coiling of the DNA over it, which forms the nucleosome. Done with the topic. Hope now you have a clear understanding of the structure of DNA and the packaging of DNA inside the nucleus or in the prokaryotic cells.